Welcome back to my channel. My name is Prachi Sharma, and in today's session we have a discussion based upon the blueprint for your 10th board examination starting up in February. The blueprint we are discussing about is of science subject, and we'll be prioritizing the chapters that you need to study first and then discuss the sequence as to which ones to follow. So, if you have not started working on the subject and you want a fresh start, you want to understand how to utilize my energy, then I'm gonna help you put your efforts in the correct direction. So, let's get started. Alright, students, I hope my screen is clearly visible to you all. Now, let's get started with the understanding of what the question paper would look like. So the first thing would be that the time allotted to you is 3 hours for the entire science examination. Total marks in the written exam would be 80 and 20 marks are for your internal assessments. Now, the entire science subject is divided into 3 portions, that is chemistry, physics and biology. I'm going to discuss each part and each chapter as to how many marks you can expect from that. So the first one is your chemistry. You're going to get 25 marks from chemistry. The first chapter is chemical reactions and equations. The total we are expecting is of 6 marks, 3 questions of 1 mark each and 1 question of 3 marks. The second chapter that we have is for about total 3 marks, acids, bases and salts. Even I am shocked looking at it because acids, bases and salts is a very huge chapter and you have to learn a lot in that, and you're only getting 3 marks from that. So bottom line is, do not prioritize acids, bases and salts, prioritize everything else, and towards the end try and look at all the kind of colored PPTs you're getting, any exceptional equations, because you're only gonna get 1 mark questions from that. So that could be multiple choice or writing an equation or naming the colored PPTs or answering the exceptional parts. So focus on those type of questions from this chapter. Moving on, we have metals and non-metals. That's a good marking of 10 marks. So it's an important chapter. So you're gonna get 1 question of 1 mark, 1 question of 2 mark, 1 question of 3 mark and 1 question of 4 marks. That means this chapter would be visible in the question paper and you would frequently come across the questions from these. So metals and non-metal, an important one. Now moving on to chapter 4, that is organic chemistry, or as your book says, carbon and its compounds. This is gonna come for about 6 marks. The syllabus has been reduced, so the total portion that's coming from this chapter is less compared to before. So you're gonna get 6 marks this year. Moving on to biology, you're gonna get 29 marks from bio. The chapter 6, that is life processes, is gonna weigh about 9 marks. So that is about 9 marks, guys. Very important. 2 questions of 1 mark each, 2 questions of 2 mark each, and 1 question of 3 mark. Very important chapter. Moving on, we have control and coordination. We are expecting a total of 3 marks from this chapter, 1 question of 1 mark and 1 question of 2 marks. Then chapter 8 is reproduction. We are expecting for about 6 marks from this, and of course 1 5-mark question, which is always there. So 1 diagram based question will always come from reproduction. So make sure that you study this chapter well, and specifically all the diagrams, the marking, importance of various parts and glands, and understanding how the entire concept. Now chapter 9 is heredity and evolution. Evolution is not in the syllabus. So just from heredity part, you are getting a total of 6 marks. 3 questions of 1 mark each, 1 question of 3 marks. Moving on to question number chapter number 10, that is our environment, which is coming for 5 marks. Now Just a comparison. So acids, bases and salts is coming for 3 marks. Big chapter, a lot of equations and a lot of details. And our environment, a super easy chapter, very basic understanding of definitions and pretty straightforward chapter is coming for 5 marks. You have to prioritize this chapter over the others which are coming for about 3 marks. So this in this you'll be expecting one question of 2 marks and one question of 3 marks. Moving on to physics. Total of 25 marks will be expected from physics. The first chapter would be chapter 10, that is light, reflection and refraction. Highly important chapter. The total of 10 marks are expected from this particular chapter, so I'm gonna mark this important. 2 questions of 3 marks each, 1 question of 4 marks of case study. So you have to understand that you don't have to do case studies of every chapter, because CBSE very clearly identifies the blueprint and mentions the case studies that you're supposed to do. So one case study is going to come from light, reflection and refraction, and another one would be from metals and non-metals. Moving on to chapter 11, human eye and the colorful world is gonna come for about total 2 marks. So this should not be a priority chapter for you at all. And even if you're supposed to take a quick look at the chapter before the exam, make sure that you're doing all the diseases or the defects caused by different, the different vision defects we have. Um, Myopia, hypermetropia, the causes and effects. So do that. Then chapter 12 is electricity, which will show up for about 7 marks. 2 questions of 1 mark each and 1 question of 5 marks. Alright, now moving forward to chapter number 13, we have magnetic effects of electric current, which is gonna show up for about 6 marks, 3 questions of 1 mark each and 1 question of 3 marks. Chapter 14 and 16 are deleted. You would not get any questions from that portion. Now students, let's look at an overall summary of the entire blueprint. How or what is the correct way to prioritize your efforts in, and prioritize your chapters and put your efforts in the correct direction. And I am here to help you with that. So let's look at the summary. Now, a lot of students like to prioritize subject wise. So they tell me, ma'am, we are very good in biology, so we'll cover bio first, or we'll cover chemistry first. So if you are prioritizing subject wise, then you should do biology first, because the total is about 29 marks from that. And then for physics and chemistry, you have about 25 and 25 approximately. So, if you're going subject wise, prioritize your bio, go ahead with physics and then chemistry. Now, if you are prioritizing chapter wise like the majority of the population, then in that case, I have these list of subjects listed in the correct sequence that you should be preparing them. So, for example, if we start with metals and non-metals, this chapter is coming for 10 marks. Light, reflection and refraction is coming for 10 marks again. Life processes is for 9 marks. So technically, let's say you have like 4 or 5 days to begin for the exam, and you have not really started anything a lot. There are a few students, due to some reasons, they are not able to put in a lot of efforts in the subject initially, and they are stuck in a difficult position. So start with the first 3 chapters. You'll have a good hold on 30 marks. After that, as you go along, because out of all the chapters, if you, let's say, have the time to do 6 chapters, you would still have a good hold on the majority of the question paper. So starting with metals, non-metals, moving on to light, then life processes. Electricity is for 7 marks. Chemical reactions and inequations is for 6 marks. Carbon and its compound is for 6. Reproduction is for 6 again. heredity and magnetic fields, magnetic effects of electric current is for 5 mark each. So if you go in the sequence and if you're able to cover up these chapters, then you automatically have a better hold on the whole subject compared to a lot of other students who have not focused their efforts in the correct direction. Also, I forgot to mention our environment here. So our environment, why do I say our environment? It's a super easy chapter and good 5 mark scorer. So less efforts and good output. So my wonderful students, this is the entire blueprint or the marking pattern that you can expect in the board examinations. Whatever CBSE release, like the blueprint, they never go off the blueprint. So whatever they have released is the final examination weightage of the chapters. Do not doubt this. Don't have any confusion about the chapters. Whatever prioritized chapters I have given you out are most important ones, and since the syllabus has been reduced, you have a chance of getting more output from your effort. And with these prioritized chapters, you can put your hard work in the correct direction to get the maximum output. Is there any chapter that you think you are struggling with and you would need my help? Then please feel free to drop a message in the comment section and I will definitely reply back to you. Please do share this video with your friends and make sure that they also understand what is the correct method and how you can score better. Be smart enough and put your efforts in the correct direction. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.